we're sitting here,
Yeah.
and right behind you is the iconic 24 car, which everybody knows the history of that car prior to you getting in it, and now you're in it. But your path to get there, it was a little bit different than most.
Yeah, I started racing on iRacing, which is kind of unique and very different than other guys start racing. You know, I didn't run go-karts as a kid. I didn't really grow up in a racing family, so I was just so passionate about racing in general that I wanted to get involved in the driving side of it. And that came later when I was 14 or 15 years old, but thankfully I had iRacing to use as a platform to get started and hone my skills.
William Byron's a great story from our perspective because, I'll be honest, we didn't know anything about him. He was the one that told the story about how he used iRacing at home and was proving to be really good at it, and his dad took notice and said, you know what, why don't we get a Legends car and we'll go try this for real.
That bump in turn one, that bump is, I mean, that's right where it is on the racetrack.
I mean, most of the track layout stuff's exactly the same, which is really helpful if you're going to the racetrack for the first time.
So the simple fact that we're shifting, that's kind of, like I wouldn't have guessed that we would have had to do that when we started this, based on the video games I've played in the past. There's iRacing and there's video games. What's generally the difference between the two?
Yeah, so iRacing's more of a simulator. It's not as much of a game, I think. They always say that, you know, guys that race iRacing all the time want to say how it's a simulator, not a game.
We are not a video game. You know, Gran Turismo, Forza, you buy one of those games in the store, you take it home and you run it on your console, you're gonna play that for 20 or 30 hours. What's really unique about our product is that people spend hundreds of hours on our product because it's not easy.
It's really more of a tool. It's kind of like a flight simulator. It's more of something you use to hone your skills at a higher level instead of just going on there and picking up a controller.
Oh, you ran me up the track.
That was a pretty good race.
What was different from the iRacing in terms of when you got loose or when you got tight when you were in the real car?
Honestly, in some ways it was easier. And that sounds crazy, but you could feel the car more.
That doesn't sound crazy. It makes me kind of curious, though.
Yeah, you could feel the car more, and in person I had that extra, or I had extra skills to use or extra senses to kind of use in the car. So my sense of smell you don't have on iRacing, and your sense of, I guess, feel and danger and fear factor is not there.
I guess the fact that you think that the real cars are easier than the iRacing, that tells us why you're having the level of success that you are at this point right now.
Byron jumps to the lead on the restart.
He's so nervous, he knows how close he is to his first win at this moment.
Career win number one for William Byron comes at Iowa. What a night for William Byron.
Towards the end of that season, the announcement's made. You're going to the 24 car.
There was a big announcement earlier this week out of Hendrick Motorsports. 19-year-old William Byron will now occupy that car for the 2018 season.
There's a lot of pressure that comes with hopping in the 24 car.
Driving the Cup car itself is obviously a challenge, but I knew, you know, I just trusted my instinct, kind of trusted what I've done to get to this point. So, you know, the boss didn't really put that much pressure on me. Mr. Hendrick kind of told me to just go out there and make sure I can learn this year. You were running, that was like you ran half second faster than you ever did. Right there.
That's your way of saying bless his heart before you say you suck. When you look at iRacing and you look at the impact it had on your career, and yes, you had to go learn the driving aspect of it, but it's what kind of got you started. What role do you think it's going to play in kids coming up through in the future?
I think it's huge. I think it's probably the next innovation for racing. Or I think there's going to be more data, more chances to understand what's happening inside the race car. And I think where you see that in F1 is guys, they're taking them off the development teams and putting them right into the real cars just because of the data they see that they're able to produce. So I think you're going to understand who has talent, who doesn't, a lot quicker. And that's going to make for iRacing to be a bigger platform.
Out of the desert and onto the beach we go for one last ride with the Simulation Stock Car Association. 4 drivers left with a chance to hold the championship trophy high at the end of the night, and it's coming your way live now. Hello and welcome to the Global Sim Racing Channel's presentation of the AdPro 360 Cup Series Championship Race tonight from Homestead-Miami Speedway. Up in the press box bringing all the action, well, that's me, Sean Ambrose, and my partner this evening, as always, Tanner Sharp. In the director's chair over there, Joe Peak Piston and tweaking the dials for us tonight. Armed with cameras located, aimed, zoomed, and focused by GSRC's camera guru, Dougie Beard. Let's get ready over these next few minutes as GSRC will bring you all the storylines and all the stats and facts you'll need to fully appreciate the simulated NASCAR Cup racing that is coming your way. Tanner, tonight we have the Dirty Air on Twitch 200 here from Homestead-Miami Speedway. You know, folks, Dirty Air Studios is an iRacing media production company. We provide the top-of-the-line professional video, graphics, pictures, and paints for all things sim racing. You can check them out on Facebook. Just type in Dirty Air Studios. They'll come up for you, and go give them a like and check out what they're offering. Tanner, I brought my sunscreen, I brought my towel. I don't think it's exactly what I need to get ready for tonight's race, even though we do have a little bit of a lake here in the infield. Why don't you get the fans ready by telling them a little bit about Homestead-Miami Speedway?
You will not need that sunscreen or a towel, but you will need an extra seatbelt for that chair you are sitting in, because this is going to be a wild ride for 4 drivers who are fighting for a championship today. This Homestead-Miami Speedway is a 1.5-mile racetrack with multi-groove racing. It's especially in a late afternoon setting where the track's much cooler, but the handling can come into play later on. With its 18 and 20 degrees of banking, you'll see drivers up next to the wall and all the way down by the white line. Pit road can be very tricky to get onto as well, because you have to take the pathways, otherwise iRacing black flags you. Don't beat yourself on them pathways. To get an idea what it's like to get around the Homestead-Miami Speedway, let's hop on board one of these NASCAR Monster Energy Cup cars and take a lap around Homestead.
Hello everyone and welcome to Global Sim Racing Channel. My name is Brian Yazek and I'll be taking you for a lap or two around the Homestead-Miami Speedway. The reason I'm starting on pit road is because Homestead has a very interesting pit exit and pit entrance procedure, and I'm going to show you how each side of it works. So, without further ado, here we go. Minding the wheel spin coming out of the pits, up into second gear, coming around through the flat part, the access road. There's absolutely no banking on this part of the track. You really are holding, waiting, waiting, and waiting. As soon as you see that grass start to clear out right there, you can go full onto the loud pedal, back down into fourth gear, and onto the back stretch. Like I said, I'm going to show you a qualifying line and a end of the run line when the tires are at their absolute worst. So without further, coming out of turn 4, underneath the start finish line for your qualifying lap, your marker right here as you're looking for that caution light, off into the gas, ease it into the corner, back into the throttle. You're not full throttle yet, maybe half, 3/4, waiting, waiting, going. A little bit loose out of the corners. Watch out for that divot there out of turn 2. Entering turn 3, you're looking for that white line right there as your marker. And then looking for the bottom, waiting, waiting. The car is going to get very squirrely, and you're going to come out of turn 4, let it run right next to the wall, and that's your qualifying lap. Now, at the end of the run, you're going to watch a lot of people take this very high arcing corner into turn 1, looking at that seam right there at the track. You're not full throttle yet, still waiting. Now you're full throttle. And watch, minding that wall out of turn 2 and that bump out of turn 2. Entering turn 3, right where that safer barrier starts is where you're going to start letting off. Let the car find the bottom. It's still going to be extremely loose. This way, you're just going to let it drift up to the wall, and then out of turn 4, watching that wall again. And there we are. Coming out of the backstretch right now, looking for your mark. Here's where it's going to get tricky, because you've got to slow down from 190 miles an hour down into third gear, running on this access road, trying to find grip. The car doesn't want to grip. The tires are hot, slick. You're coming through here. The grass ends. You can kind of get a little more aggressive. Down into second gear and onto pit road. And that completes your track guide at Homestead-Miami Speedway.
And that is a fast trip around Homestead-Miami Speedway. Another GSRC lap guide. Listen, if you didn't figure it out in the lap guide, there are multiple grooves of racing here, and plan on all of these drivers finding the one that gets them around the fastest tonight based on their driving style. Now, quickly, we're going to look at the points, because really the only thing that you need to know this evening is that 4 drivers stand a chance to win this championship, and they are. You see them right there, highlighted in green. Final 4: David Washington, Dylan Jones, Andrew Farnyars, and Andrew Payne, all going to slug it out tonight for a chance to win this championship. Now, all 4 are here, Tanner. They're ready to go. Again, one of them needs to win to win this championship. Now, if they don't win, if one of the 4 does not win, then it'll go on best finish and, of course, and back. Here's the bad news for them. We've got a really large field here this evening, 24 cars. Last night, if you were with us for the Challenger race, it was a great race, great championship race right here at Homestead-Miami Speedway, but it was a low car count last night. Only 11 cars started the race, so the championship contenders were able to race and able to do it pretty cleanly without much incident. Tonight, we got a full field, and with these drivers scrambling for position, right now, you've got to count on a great qualifying time, and they are getting those in now. But, Tanner, why don't you go ahead and go over the race details with us real quickly?
Yes, absolutely. There have been total 7 playoff races, and this is the final one, the championship race. Every single driver here tonight, including all the non-playoff drivers, are using the same setups with an 80% fuel load. So it's a little less than your normal average fuel count in an actual NASCAR Cup Series event. Each team has 5 sets of tires, so they will put 4 of them on the car, and you got the 5 down in pit road. 2 cause incidents gets the driver disqualified, and also we do have a green-white checkered for this series, which means iRacing didn't implement it, the series implemented it. So if the race finishes under yellow, the top 10 drivers will have 1 attempt for a green-white checkered, going green after the pace car pulls from victory lap.
Okay, and let's talk about qualifying right now. So far, we've got 16 drivers that have taken qualifying time. We've got several drivers here tonight that are either making their first appearance or haven't been here much this season. So again, it's a good field. It's a big field. And again, 16 drivers have taken those times. Gabe Wood right now sits at the provisional pole with a 30.549. And, Dylan Jones, almost a full 1/10 of a second back there from him. It's pretty tight at the top, though, when you start looking at the times. A lot of 30.6s there, Tanner.
Yeah, that just goes to show how even the setups are here in this for tonight's events, especially for the championship drivers. And it's going to be an exciting race because a lot of these drivers have some butterflies in their stomachs before the pre-race. Once they finally start gritting up and then their cars for that very first pace lap coming to the green, them butterflies are still there and they're nervous, but they got to throw that out the window because it's time to go green, and hopefully they can keep their track position. Homestead's a multi-groove racetrack. It's going to change over a course of a run if we do stay green, and those tires can get eaten up pretty quickly as well. So conserve your tires as much as you can and try to keep that track position.
All right, and it does look like all the drivers that are going to qualify have qualified, Tanner. Everybody else choosing to start from the back of the field. So that being the case, let's go ahead and award our final Sim Speed Shop Pole Award of the season. We're going to give it to Gabe Wood. The Georgia driver wins that again with a 30.5. Actually, the only driver to get a 30.5, but the round 24 winner of the Sim Speed Shop Pole Award goes to him. And of course, as we've been talking about all season, for every 2 poles, a driver earns $5, and the driver with the most poles at the end of the season going to get $20, courtesy of SimSpeedShop.com. A great place to order custom button boxes as well as buy and sell used equipment. For more information, go to their website, SimSpeedShop.com. That's all one word, SimSpeedShop.com. Tanner, well, that is it with qualifying, and right now, again, the time's pretty tight, but, you know, I expect as the weather conditions right now are pretty much like they were last night, we're going to see multiple grooves of racing, and definitely as the race goes on, that top groove around the top, literally not just, as I talked about last night, not just feet from the wall, but inches from the wall. That will get some grip up there, and you'll see a lot of guys running up top, really trying to carry that momentum, keeping their speed up through the middle of these turns.
Yes, absolutely. Usually on the very first lap of the race, the car handles differently because if you're in the middle of the pack, you're around traffic. So the car's not really going to handle like it was in the practice session when you're just out there turning laps, seeing what line to take and all that. So that's something you have to take in consideration. Sometimes drivers will, on fresher tires, will run on the bottom side of the racetrack, but eventually they're going to have to move up. The longer they hang out on the bottom side of the racetrack, the more the handling is going to come into play. And depending upon how you're driving, handling can come into play all sorts around the racetrack. So you really got to conserve your tires as much as you can. Try to search for that higher groove, right next to the wall, inches to the wall, like you said, Sean, to try to conserve just a little tire. Because if you can get the correct run off on corner exit, you can really gain on some guys. So just try to save them tires. That first stage is only 33 laps. And if we do get a caution, you might see some guys take a gamble and just stay out and conserve those tires. We've seen that last week at ISM Raceway.
Now, Tanner, it sounds like you are it sounds like you were a fan of that upper line as a driver. Is that where you want to be here late in this race? Do you think that's the fast way around?
I think so, but it just depends on how much the groove changes. There's been times I've been racing here at Homestead where the groove changes, and I have to find that groove again, and it's really hard to. Sometimes it's right in the middle of the racetrack, sometimes it's right next to the wall, but it's certainly not necessarily going to be on the bottom, because the bottom is going to hurt you on corner exit, and whoever's running the high side, they're going to get that big old run on you. Mm-hmm. So realistically, it's like going to be that between that middle groove and that high groove, in my opinion, but I can be wrong.
Yeah, no, I again, you know, go back to last night's race in the Xfinity cars. It pretty much the same scenario. The bottom line was good, but boy, after a few laps, car really tightened up down there, and you really scuffed a lot of speed off on the corner exits. So either somewhere in the middle of the track or right up against that wall, like we've been talking about, probably going to be the key to winning this tonight. I think though, right now with qualifying over, it's time to go to the grid. We'll go ahead and let you know where everybody's lining up tonight. Gabe Wood on that pole that we talked about. Row 1 is going to be completed with Dylan Jones on the outside. Row 2 going to go to Shane Parrish, a newcomer this evening. Will start third in the 18. David Washington starting fourth in that Aegis Ford number 98. Row 3, Sean Callist in the number 43 will start fifth. Andrew Payne starting sixth there in the Premier number 93. Row 4, David Leif, he'll start seventh at 24, another newcomer. Gary Sexton in the number 13, his Toyota will start eighth. And then we go to row 5, Andrew Farnyars, our championship contender, starting back on the fifth row on the inside there. The 88 will be ninth, and William Locklear is going to complete the top 10 in the old number 4.
Outside that top 10, Mr. William Hartman is going to start in 11th alongside with Judd Danielson in 12th. Kyle Kammer, extremely fast last week at ISM Raceway. Can he keep the momentum going? He's going to start in 13th. And Giovanni Bramante is going to start in 14th. 15th place, Ray Richer. And 16th, Colton Selleck, the last driver to take a qualification time. Tanner Tellerico will start in 17th. Richard Regan Jr. is going to start in the 18th spot. Eric Stanford in 19th, and rounding out the top 20, the very fast but competitive Alan Elwood.
All right, and we'll take the rest of the field here real quickly. We've got row 11. It's going to be Ryan Hill in the double nickel starting 21st tonight, elected not to qualify. Ethan Moore will start in 22nd. Row 12 is going to be Jacob Porter in the number 3. Trey Galgan in the number 49. The Copper Hill Machine will start 24th. In row 13, there he is. There's our buddy Adam Eisner. The number 86 makes the race tonight and will start 25th. We have got 25 cars ready to roll off here in the AdPro 360 Cup Series, and off pit lane they go. And we'll only have one pace lap here to get them started, Adam. Did I say Adam? I did.
Yes, you did.
Tanner, I've only been working with you all season. No, we've Yeah, so we go around. This is it. Everybody's got to get lined up, get ready to go. I'm going to give you 2 seconds here. Give me a favorite.
Andrew Farniar's dominant car all season long. He's had some miscues here and there, but he's got to go for it tonight. This is the one that counts. This is the championship, baby.
Okay, I like that pick. I really, really do. Boy, but to win this race, I don't know, man. David Washington, this might be his night. Look out for that number 98 Ford this evening, the Aegis Motorsports Ford. Now, here we go. We are down in the back end of the speedway now. The pace car rolling out of turn 3, through the middle of the turn, now into turn 4. It turns off. We are ready to go. We're looking for the green. We're mean green and underway. Gabe Wood has got the field. Dylan Jones battles him hard down in turn 1. They're side by side, starting to single out behind them. And Dylan Jones has got that run up top that we talked about here early, and Gabe Wood comes back on the inside as they head down the back stretch. They're still side by side. Dave Washington, Andrew Payne single out behind him. David Washington take a look there at the middle. He doesn't like it. He backs off just a bit. Jones a little bit slower up top. And here comes Gabe Wood. Will lead the first lap here of the Dirty Air on Twitch 200 tonight.
Those fresh tires really paid off for Gabriel Wood on that first lap. And you see how hard Dylan Jones really wanted to get that race lead. He utilized that middle groove of the racetrack, but turns 3 and 4 did not work out for him as he's starting to fall back just a little bit. Washington is in second place, still utilizing the bottom side of the racetrack. Jones, realistically, is kind of stuck there in that middle groove, but we got some 3-wide action in the middle of the pack back there.
Yeah, and you know what? It is actually spicy in the middle of the pack right now. It's Kyle Kammerer trying to come up through the middle of the number 8 back here. That's to try and get up in the 10th, and I think he's going to get it. And did that at the expense of the 07 there of William Hartman going up near the wall. Kammerer's got quite a run as he goes by Farniar's. Wow, passes Farniar's like he was standing still. Kammerer has definitely got the car hooked up. Maybe a little bit of that seat time last night paying off for him here early.
Yeah, that high line didn't really get into play on the first couple laps, but right now as the tires are starting to build up, the tire pressures are starting to build up a little bit. I think that high sign is starting to come to play in right now. Look at Andrew Farniar's, for example, back here. He's on the bottom side, but he's losing ground to drivers you don't normally lose ground to. And that's probably the reason why on that bottom side right now as we're
the 5 has got trouble back there. The 5 has got trouble. He's spinning.
Caution.
And Alan Elwood got loose, couldn't gather it up. He spins. It brings out our first caution of the night.
Ooh, Alan Elwood. Man.
Yeah, we're going to catch a replay of that here in a moment. But Alan, again, just struggled off the turn. You're going to see the car get loose, and it starts to snap on him. It looked like for a moment he might have had it. And it all goes bad.
I think the number 85 right ahead or right next to him actually made contact with the outside wall that caused Elwood to react, and he was 3 wide, and I think that's what happened.
Judd Danielson in that number 85. I'm wondering if, let's see if, we're watching on board with Galgan here. We'll see if he sees something. You see him? Well, okay, so here comes the spin just in front of him. And boy, Trey's got to do a good job of getting right by that. Ah, that was really, really good work there. What a wheel man. Woo! We've already got some takers. We've already got some takers on the pit road. Farniar's one of them. I'm not shocked. That car wasn't running well, or at least not used to the standards we've seen all season, Tanner.
No, it's definitely not. It's definitely not. He must have realized, man, on this restart, after that caution came out, he probably looked at his position and was like, man, I feel like I'm going to be on the bottom side of the racetrack, and I was having already a difficult time getting higher up on the groove. So I'm just going to come down pit road here, and that looks like what he's going to do. It looks like he only took fuel only, and that's probably good strategy here at Homestead, especially when you have limited sets of tires, Sean.
Correct. Yes, limited sets of tires. You get 5 sets allotted to you. It's the way it's been all season. You start with that first set on the car, and then, you've got the last 4 to decide how you want to use them. But right there, we had 3 cars pit. Andrew Farniar's, Adam Eisenhower, Judd Danielson who was that number 85 that got a piece of the wall, and Judd just now coming out. Looks like he took some damage repair. That was a long stop. Jacob Porter, the number 3, never got started, so he's going to be a DNS. But we still have 24 cars in this field. 126 laps to go. We pick up a caution early. The start wasn't bad. It was actually pretty good. I think we're looking forward to another good start here, but boy, Gabe Wood's going to have his hands full because now he's got David Washington to the inside. Washington going to fight hard to get out of that clean air. Going back to last night's race, every time a leader got out front, it was theirs for a while because the clean air is king. Here at Homestead-Miami Speedway, we do have a fair amount of wind tonight, Tanner. A little bit more than last night. It's gusting 15 to 15 miles an hour at times, kind of blowing to the east down into that turn 1 and 2 end of the track. So drivers going to need to watch that, be careful, and that corner exit just got a little trickier down there. So here we go. Pace car ready to go. Gabe Wood's going to lead him. Elects to start on the top side. Probably not a bad call. We'll see if David Washington can somehow maybe get around him here on the restart. Dylan Jones, Andrew Payne right behind him, David Leif, and Gary Sexton back there. Gary picked up a couple spots. Pace car's in. Waiting for Gabe Wood. He's on the hammer, and he's on it quick. Gabe Wood did not want to give David Washington any kind of chance. Doesn't leave the door open. In fact, he shuts it on him immediately. And they spread out and go single file as Washington goes up in the middle groove. So does the leader, Gabe Wood. He's going to get it clean down the back stretch, but Washington gets a bit of a run. He's going to take a look back just behind them. It's the battle for 5th. Sexton, David Leif, and Leif is, I think David's got that spot. He does. Gary falls back.
Ooh.
I saw that. Was that
Parrish? He almost made contact with that outside wall, but I mean, he's just trying to protect that higher groove. But right behind Parrish is William Hartman, using up that really high side of the racetrack now, trying to get that run on that number 4 of William Locklear. He kind of does so. They're side by side back there for position. What's some good strategy call on Gabriel Wood on this past restart here, Sean, because he elected that outside row, and it truly paid off. Just a little bit of an update, too. Yeah. Andrew Farniards was on the high side on that restart as well, too.
Yeah, really good job up front. In fact, the leaders of this race right now have decided to kind of get in line. Maybe try and run out this stage here without any more trouble. Right now, the battle is for 5th. David Leaf hanging on to it. Gary Sexton wants it. Sexton coming through, down into turn 3. No, he's going to back out of it. He has to. Doesn't want to get that push up the hill. They're battling just behind them as well as Shane Parrish and William Hartman are going at it.
Got that number 4 car that's on the bottom side. He's kind of dropping back now, dropping like a pigeon. Just ahead of him is Kyle Cameron, who's been trying to make some noise since the drop of the green flag here tonight. On the bottom side, I do believe he is battling side by side with the 07 of William Hartman.
He is. Cameron going to send it in the 3.
Oh, got to be careful when you do that.
He's got to crack the throttle right there. Yeah, right off the bumper of the 18 is Shane Parrish. Oh, and they almost go. Contact. That is contact. Wow. Bromonti is going to get into the back of the 07 there. He had no choice. He had nowhere to go. Wow, we've got a replay of this, but it's just amazing that William Hartman is able to hang on to this. Here's Giovanni Bromonti. We're on board with him. You're going to see the contact up in front of him. He's going to have to make an evasive move. Does a great job of not actually running over or destroying William Hartman's chances in this race tonight. Hartman is going to lose a lot of time, but you see the contact there, a little bit of a wrinkle on the bumper, but front end damage for Giovanni Bromonti. That's going to definitely have him off pace.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. I mean, mile-and-a-half racetracks, I mean, they can play a crucial role as far as aerodynamics. That's some pretty significant nose damage on Giovanni there. So,
let's get to this battle here real quick, though. I'm sorry, 14th place right now, Ryan Hill, Trey Galvin side by side. It's a hornet's nest back here. Just behind them, you've got Ryan Hill, Eric Stanford, Alan Elwood, all fighting for the same real estate here as they head around through turns 1 and 2, trying to sort things out. Boy, Ryan Hill running that 55 all the way down there on the bottom, does get the pass made on Trey Galvin.
Yeah, that 55, Ryan Hill actually kind of pulled like a slide job maneuver, trying to get right in front of Trey Galgan before he came right back up on that high side off of turn 2.
And I want to let our race fans know we haven't forgotten about the leaders. In fact, we should probably go there now. Things mix it up a little bit. Gabe Wood runs all the way up side of the top. David Washington took a peek at the bottom, and it wasn't there. He could not, as you talked about, Tanner, he could not get that car going.
No, it's just curious because right now, it's at this point, if you're David Washington, it's like, okay, I caught the race leader. Now it's just a matter of trying to pass him because he's going to run the same line I'm running because that's where the line is right now. And if I use that high side, what's the guy behind me named Dylan Jones is going to do? He's going to go up to the high side and get that run. He looks for it, but it looks like Washington's going to clear in that hole right there to try to prevent that from happening.
Well, Gabe Wood still showing that speed he had in qualifying, continuing to lead this race. At the moment, the top 4, Wood, Washington, Jones, and Payne at the moment, and they've opened things up a little bit on David Leif, who sits about a second and a half behind. He's kind of got the track to himself as the moment. Everybody still slugging it out behind him. Really, where the big mix-up is still back here with Richard Regan, William Locklear, who's now trying to make a pass on Regan. Sitting behind them is Ethan Moore, Colton Salick, and I think Regan is going to give up that spot. I don't know. He's going to try and fight back on the top side here. Oh, and he gets the wall. Richard Regan tagging it. Everybody's going to pass him. He starts backing up here. Ryan Hill makes a dive to the bottom. Ethan Moore got by. I think that's all Ryan's going to get. Just the 1-4 now. Regan fighting back on the top side here.
Yeah, Ryan's kind of struggling here. It just seems like he struggles more on the bottom in 1 and 2 than what he does in 3 and 4. Look, I mean, he could hop right in front of that 46 before he closes it up. Thinking about it, oh, he's already there. That's just the beneficiary line that corner exit on the high side does to you with that progressive banking, 18 to 20 degrees. So Ryan Hill still on the bye and fighting very aggressively here, using up that middle groove to bottom groove there.
Yeah, and listen, we are seeing drivers exploit multiple lines here on this track. This battle back here, 10th on back is living proof of it as Ryan Hill just picks up another spot. He gets himself into the top 10, now going to work on Ethan Moore. William Locklear is now going to deal with Richard Regan Jr. and Giovanni Bramonti. Tanner, I don't know why, but Gary Sexton seems to be losing positions all of a sudden as Shane Parrish just pulls off a move on him.
Depending upon how hard Gary Sexton is driving there, Sean, sometimes if you're driving it too hard, especially on the opening laps, and you don't come down for tires, the handling of that car could really play in a factor in every partial of that racetrack, the high side, the middle groove, and the bottom. And he's just not able to gun down the throttle, try to beat the drive that passed from Shane Parrish because he just got passed from the bottom side. And the caution's out.
Oh, and we just got a caution flag. I think Giovanni Bramonti got a little loose off of 4, and that winds up collecting Trey Galgan and Richard Regan Jr., who was already struggling a little bit. He's got a very damn race car now. We'll go on board with the Copper Hill machine of Trey Galgan. We were there on the 49. But you're going to see this incident happen. It starts with Bramonti. He's going to get some of the wall, and then that car is going to get out of shape. As Richard Regan actually gets contact with the wall again, and he came across the track.
Oh,
I thought Bramonti was involved in that, though.
I can tell you one thing. Richard Regan Jr. was the start of that because that car just snapped loose on corner exit of turn 4. Maybe he kind of breathed the throttle a little bit to avoid the wall. No,
Bramonti, in fact, did not make contact. He just barely avoided getting spun around as a result of that. And that Richard Regan car, a lot of damage on it. But the 81 gets away through that clean as we pick up our second caution in this first stage. Right now, we're looking at the end of the stage,
33.
11 laps away here. So
Just to affirm up that we haven't talked about it yet, but Farnyards was 15 seconds behind of the car that was last in the lead lap there. Farnyards was all by himself, about more than half of a racetrack behind from the race leaders. Now he's coming back down pit road. I think Farnyards seen that they were battling too hard, and he didn't want any part of it, so he really backed off. So this is a strategy plan on Farnyards' end.
He knows he's fast, right? He knows he's fast. In these stages tonight, as we talked about in the Sim Speed Shop Truck Series, the AdPro 360 Challenger Series, in this final race, these are just breaks, man. They don't mean anything. The bonus points aren't necessary. So, you know, I think Farnyards right now just playing it cool, like you said, hanging out here at the back. There's no reason to get too nervous yet. He knows he's still got 2 stages in front of him to gain advantage, whether it be in the pits or on track. So far, so good. He's been out of trouble, and that's the only thing that's really important, Tanner.
Yeah, you know, don't hit that panic button yet. It is way too early. It's 132 laps, and we've only completed 22 laps so far, coming to 23 laps. So no need to panic right now. Just a strategy, and it's a good strategy because that was actually quite a big incident on that front straightaway, collecting a couple of pretty good cars out there. So good strategy on Farnyard's part.
Yeah, and it looks like Regan has made it back out. So has Hartman. Trey Galgan, though, unfortunately, that car's still sitting on pit lane. He has, he's lost a couple laps now as a result of that. And unfortunately, that might be all the number 49 could have handled tonight as it sits there lonely by itself on pit lane, heavily damaged and needing repairs, lots of them. Hopefully, Trey gets a chance to get back out here this evening. But guess what, folks? The lights are back out on the pace car. We're ready to go racing again. This time, Gabe Wood's going to start on the bottom with David Washington to his outside, Tanner.
Well, I mean, I assume that's okay, but here's the kicker. You want to try to beat David Washington, at least clear him by the time to start finish line, because if you're the race leader, you control the restart. So as long as you can beat that second place guy to the line and quickly get to that higher side, I mean, that's good news for you, but you don't want to have Washington have that good restart to where he's still side by side with you. So we'll find out right here, Sean.
Yeah, well, Gabe might be gambling here a little bit, but we're about to find out, folks. The Ford Mustang pace car is pulled off. Oh, and he spins the tires. Gabe Wood gets a little bit of tire spin. That's going to maybe give David Washington a chance to compete with him here through 1 and 2.
Oh.
Might have been just... Oh, and the caution's back out. Oh, no, we had trouble on the start. Judd Danielson's involved. We're going to get it restarted. I think we had another car spin the tires here, looking through the field. Oh, it was Giovanni Bermani. It started with him. Sean Callis gets into the back of Tanner Tallarico. What a mess. All kinds of cars involved in that, Tanner.
Yeah, heavy wheel spin. These guys must have mashed down on the throttle in second gear to cause that wheel spin, because the tires, you know, they're really hot. You know, they're worn out. That's one of those causes on the restarts when you don't pit for tires. And a lot of these drivers don't want to pit for tires because it's not the end of the stage yet.
Right. And it all started with Romonti, unfortunately. He spins him first. He gets into shape. And then we've got cars making evasive moves. Judd Danielson, one of them, and winds up wrecked as a result of that. So a lot of twisted up machinery. But we'll utilize the pits once again to get some repair. We will get this race restarted and finish this stage, hopefully under green. Tanner, though, boy, Gabe Wood really had a close one there on this restart, man, lighting those tires up.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got to be a little more careful now so he doesn't spin them tires. But the problem is you don't want Dave Washington to have that run. So, I mean, what do you do in that kind of situation? Should you mash the gas? Well, if you do, you're going to spin them rear tires out. So we still got the lights still turned on. So he's got a couple of minutes to really think about this here. But I think that was a decent restart on Gabriel Wood's part. He did clear Washington. So that was the good news. Just you can't keep falling back in that hole to where you're going to continuously spin them tires, because that's going to hurt you on restarts and more to come. So as long as he keeps doing what he's doing right now and beats Washington, you should be okay.
Sounds like an old Dallas Cowboys fan T-shirt. Beat Washington. I may have seen that on the street somewhere at one time or another back in the old Dallas-Fort Worth area. Well, the lights are still on. Trying to see if we still have anybody in the pit working on repair here. We do. Callis, Danielson, Richard, Tallarico, Giovanni Bramante. Here's the good news. At least I think it's good. No, he's not back out. I thought maybe Trey Galgan had gotten back out. That car is parked, and Trey may be essentially done for the evening. In fact, they have taken the car behind the wall. I see he's left the session. So tough to see him out. He's become a bit of a fan favorite. Tough to see Trey Galgan out of this race so early. Got a few other cars deciding to come down pit road here late. William Hartman, Richard Regan, and Alan Elwood coming in for service.
Yeah, those guys have seen some damage or got involved or even brought out the caution in previous incidents before here tonight. So they've seen some activity out there. Looks like, according to race officials here, next flag will end the stage. So that would totally make sense since we're going to be completing 28 laps, and the stage is only 30. The first stage is only 33 laps. So with that being said, if you're Gabriel Wood and you got that notification, hey man, I gotta just beat Washington and just run a couple more laps and finish the first stage, and I have first place myself, that clean air, the #1 pit box, all will be right in the world.
All right, well, here we go. It's all up to Gabe Wood again. We're going to look for him not to spin the tires this time as the pace car gets ready to pull off. No, I thought we had the lights are still on. Okay, I thought they were off, and that's going to give a few cars a chance to. Now they've gone off. Okay, and that's going to give a few cars a little more time to maybe get it together and get a chance to get back out on the track. Giovanni Bramante, that team, they have taken their car behind the wall. He has also left the session for the evening. So right now, as it stands, we've got 20 cars on track. We've still got a few in the pits working on damage here, and hopefully we'll get back to the field here when we get restarted. They're coming down the backstretch now. And Tanner, it's all about the tires here. These guys up front, obviously, with the oldest sets out there, now working lap 28 on those tires here under caution. And with spinning the tires, that's what got us on this last restart. So, again, the next flag we get will end the stage, whether it's the planned flag at lap 33 or it's a caution flag that might come out because somebody has trouble on this restart. I hope not. The Ford Mustang coming out of turn 4 now. Here goes Gabe Wood. We'll watch him closely. He doesn't waste any time at all. Gets on the hammer. He's down across the start-finish line, pulling away from David Washington. Washington right now got to worry about Dylan Jones right there. Kyle Kammer. Talk about a guy that has come up through this field. Kammer now in 4th. Digging down there on the bottom. He's got company behind him as Gary Sexton giving him a push. Was that the 93? Andrew Payne in the wall. And the caution is out. And the stage is over. Oh, what a horrible accident for Andrew Payne.
That's not good, especially when you're running for a championship there, Sean. That's, it looks like he just got loose when he was on the outside of camera. You'll have to take another look at that to confirm my ordeal there.
Yeah, no, I think that's exactly it. He just got loose, and I'm not sure how it started, but maybe just getting back to the throttle off exit there. He squeezed it a little too tight, I'm guessing. The car starts to get loose. He's never able to recover. The 18 gets into him. And I got to be honest with you, it was hard. That car was crabbing after it hit the wall. Oh.
Boy, great wreck avoidance there from Gary Sexton and Ryan Hill.
Yeah, they were all over that. Yep. Wow. Man, that is about as tough a break for Andrew Payne as you can get. Here you go, Tanner. We've got this on board with Gary.
All right, you're riding right behind these two cats. One guy hits the wall, gets loose, hits it again. Got to turn left to avoid that. Man, great eyes by Gary Sexton right there. That, I mean, good thing he was kind of behind camera a little bit.
All right, well, everybody pitting now. Listen, I'll tell you who's not pitting is stayed on track. Right now we've got Alan Elwood on track. Now, he came in at that last caution. And guess what? So did Andrew Farnyards. So those two will restart the race on the front row. They don't need to come in again. Farnyards has made several trips to the pits already.
Yeah, Farnyards just took fuel only on every single one of them stops except probably this caution flag. But hey, I tell you what, Gabriel Wood, man, that was a close race off pit road. He almost got beat, even though he was the first pit box. But he still remains in second place. Farnyards looks like he kind of stayed out here. And he ain't pitting because you have to take the pathway around to get on the pit road. Otherwise, the iRacing system will black flag you for that.
Well, again, it was a kind of a curious end of the stage. Honestly, we got a really nice run there in the second half of that first stage, and then, yeah, we pick up a couple cautions late, only because you got drivers that were really struggling on the old tires for the restart. Certainly something to consider when we get into that third and final stage tonight, Tanner, about how these drivers restart and what they'll have left as far as tires go. Obviously, we know now that restarts can be treacherous here at Homestead-Miami Speedway, and especially tonight. So something to keep an eye on for sure. But we'll get to see a couple different drivers restart this race now. Again, Alan Elwood in his performance undercoating machine there, the Chevrolet Camaro, and right next to him in that Ford is going to be Andrew Farnyards. So again, we get to restart this race a little bit differently than we've been doing here over that first stage.
Yeah, just a little bit. Some drivers are really just trying to prepare. Trying to get this because we've had 3 cautions in the first stage. So, I mean, yeah, the tires are wearing during them green flag stretches, but they're not in a dramatic way. They feel like they're dramatic, but not 100%. It's just right now you're kind of setting yourself up. Okay, eventually we are going to get a long run. What am I going to do when we do get that long run? You know what I mean? So right now some of these drivers are setting it up like Elwood and Farnyards. Farnyards, I don't know. He's going to get gobbled up if he didn't take tires at all, which I don't believe he did. Elwood, if he took tires, he should be okay for that track position. So we'll have to see how these top 2 guys of Elwood and Farnyards are going to do. Now, Farnyards has been in the back of the pack majority of this race, just trying to stay out of trouble, in which he successfully has done that.
All right. Well, listen, he's got a chance here to get away from trouble, period.
Yes. By
getting to the front. And listen, Elwood, that machine's a little bit dinged up. With Farnyards there on the top side, I really think that he's got a great chance to get away, get that clean air, and man, if we can keep the green flag unfurled, maybe he's got a chance to kind of run away with this second stage and honestly take a break compared to the first stage he had right back there riding in the back trying to avoid some of these wrecks. But we're ready. Coming out of turn 4 now. Pace car's got him. Alan Elwood, Andrew Farnyards for the first time on this front row, and it's up to Elwood goes quick. Oh, Farnyards really slow on that start, Tanner. He has fallen asleep. Down to the bottom already goes Gabe Wood.
He's in trouble. He has no tires. He has no grip. He kind of spun the tires on that restart. Everybody else around him is on 4 fresh tires. Farnyards is just a man hanging on right here in this middle pack, in this top 5 area here. Them tires, he's playing it conservative for later. It's just how well can he hang on up there.
Man, I'm just shocked right now that Andrew Farnyards does not have a car to compete. He's in the way. Everybody getting stacked up around him. Wow. And so much for what I said about Alan Elwood and his dinged-up car, but he got off to a great start, but now it's under threat. Here comes Gabe Wood. He wants it back. I don't think he enjoyed that time too much there at the back. He is already threatening and pushing.
3 wide. Oh my God. Farnyards is in the middle, man. Oh, he almost got hit, too. He almost got doored, should I say. But yeah, that's the difference right there. Just how many cautions we already had, and you still did not come down pit road. That's the difference between fresh tires and old tires.
Wow. Elwood still hanging on, but man, I think he got a piece of the wall there coming out of 2. Hurt his momentum a little bit. Gabe Wood's going to go to the bottom here up front. And Gabe Wood's now your leader. Gabe Wood has got the lead. He's going to hang on to it. Elwood's going to fight back up the top side.
I thought he was going to go for a slide job down in turn 3 back there, and looked like Elwood still came back off of turn 4.
He did. Surprisingly enough, he did. And again, with you, I'm a little bit curious as to why Wood didn't pull that car up in front of Elwood to break his momentum. These two continue side by side, back into 3 and 4.
Sometimes, Sean, when you're handling a 3,400-pound race car, you got a couple of laps after you just pitted. Sometimes it's really difficult just to try to make that transition to get really high and high. So, and that's probably, he wasn't 100% sure if he was going to come up into him. He wasn't 100% sure. He didn't really trust his eliminated spotter, if he has one, or a real spotter. So, still battling really hard, and right behind these two cats is David Washington.
Yeah, he's fulfilling the prophecy of the popcorn position right now by just enjoying the battle and staying out of it. And folks, this is the battle right now for the lead. They're running well behind, but this is tense here. David Washington maybe got to try and follow Elwood here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ooh,
that high line seemed to be working down 3 and 4 a lot better down in turns 1 and 2, but I think a lot of that has to do with that wind gust that you were talking about at the top of the show, Sean. Elwood already dropped back. This is the lowest he has been since the drop of the green flag here tonight, has been 3rd place.
I think Gabe Wood struggled a little bit there. David Washington was able to get around.
Elwood, he's riding that conservative line on that high to middle groove, kind of like right in the middle between high and middle, and it's working out really good for him. For Alan Elwood, besides the dinged up race car, but he's proving that dinged up race car means nothing. It is fully capable of run out front, but on top of that, he's working with that clean air, and you know how much cars like clean air.
Yes, they do. All right, let's go back to 8th place here now as it's getting heated up a little bit. Eric Stanford and that 07 William Hartman, who's still trying to come back from early trouble. Get the Ford and the Toyota side by side out of the turn, and boy, Ryan Hill, Stanford pulls that car right up in front of Hartman that time.
Oh,
he didn't have any problem doing that.
Speaking of Ryan Hill, he tried to throw it in there on Sexton, man, but he could not make it stick to try to get in front of him. Sexton's still battling with Ryan Hill right now for 6th place as they came across the start-finish line, and now enter turn 1.
Sexton fighting back, maybe even looking to try and cross him over there. And Sexton would sure love to get a win in this final race of the season. Final race period in the Simulation Stock Car Association.
A little concerned right now for Andrew Farnier since we have these green flag laps under these conditions. It just seems like drivers are not really battling as hard as they were in the first stage, Sean, especially from middle of the pack to back of the pack drivers. If this stays green, Farniers will be in trouble on the old tires.
Well, okay, but we're talking 3 laps difference, honestly, on the tires. I think he'll be okay. Honestly, now I'm starting to believe that Farnier is still just riding. I don't want to believe that he's really this slow. I think he's holding his cards very, very close to the vest right now.
I don't know. I don't remember him taking any kind of tires. Otherwise, I would have kept that track position up there in 2nd place at least to be in that mix a little bit, but not battling too hard because it is a 1.5 mile racetrack. This isn't like Daytona and Talladega. So.
Yeah, no, you'll get caught. You'll definitely get caught if you're well off pace. But speaking of pace, how about the leader, Alan Elwood? He's on the same tire situation that Farniers is on, and he's able to hold on to this lead right now. And again, it has a lot to do with the clean air, but Car, a little bit of right front damage, but it hasn't affected him at all. Elwood started this race in 20th, Tanner, and continues to lead here as we're really getting into the second stage.
That's true, but I think Elwood is on tires and Farnyards is not. That's just what I think. But I would have to take a look back to see if at any point if Farnyards took tires at some point. But I know for sure that this last pit stop, Alan Elwood did take a 4-tire pit stop.
All right,
last one, the 1-4.
Let's give you an update real quick on where our championship leaders are at. Okay, now David Washington, of course, is sitting here in second. Dylan Jones, well, where's Dylan? Well, he's riding back in 5th at the moment. Andrew Payne, of course, well, he had some trouble. He's riding back in 14th. And, of course, we've documented and we keep talking about where Andrew Farnyards is sitting in 12th at the moment. So right now, David Washington, the driver that seems to have everything going his way, and we haven't even hit the halfway mark of this race. The leader is still Alan Elwood, and he's still holding about a 0.3 of a second advantage as Washington and Gabe Wood have just kind of resorted to sitting back there and riding along and just following. They know he's not in it for the championship. They're going to get by Richard Regan Jr., who's going to pull down to the bottom of the track. That car off pace, but still running. He does a good job of moving out of the way of the leaders and everybody else coming by. Let's talk about 4th place real quick, too. Kyle Kammer continues to lead Dylan Jones. Kammer's up 9 spots. He started back at 13th. The number 8, the box crush machine looks pretty good tonight.
Looking pretty good and awfully aggressive at times when needed to be, Sean, because we've seen him pull some evasive moves out there on the racetrack to try to gain some track position, and my God, it has worked for him, and he's kept that car clean in the process. So good job on Kyle Kammer. He's riding that momentum wave he had from ISM Raceway, and he's still riding it here tonight. He's up there in the 4th spot, looking good.
Yeah, and you can kind of tell everybody's gotten into a bit of a rhythm because things have spread out. This battle now between Kammer and Jones is going to continue as Jones decided to drop to the bottom, see if he could make something work there and maybe get that clean air he wants. But Kammer is still fighting hard around the top and still with the momentum. That line definitely starting to come in a lot more, Tanner.
It most definitely is, Sean. You know, it's crazy. We did talk about at the top of the show how much the line of the racetrack, how much of a groove racetrack this really opens up on a long green flag run. And on top of that, you kind of have to change it up as you continue to go green. You can't run that same line throughout the whole entire race.
Right. You've got to be smart about it. Absolutely.
Yes.
Checking in back up front. It's still Elwood. Washington riding on board here, just behind Kammer. Dylan Jones dash cam. The window licker machine.
Okay, Sean, I can confirm Andrew Farnyards has yet to take tires in this whole race yet. Alan Elwood took tires before that stage 1 ended.
So that makes me wonder, Gabe Wood off track. Oh, it broke loose on him out of 4. We still don't have a caution flag. The car is sitting right on that bottom line. It was straddling it. Oh, and Gabe Wood, man, I'll tell you what, that car just snapped on him out of turn 4. It started to get loose. We're going to watch this on the replay. It's going to start to get loose, and he just can't save it.
Man, that was a really good lick to that inside wall, too, man. That having a great run, running in the top 3, you've led laps, you get loose, and something happens like this.
You were the pole sitter.
Yes.
You're the pole sitter of this race, and that car is hurt. He has found the safety of the safety road on the inner part of the track, and he's going to have to come all the way around.
I thought we were going to have a battle for the race lead because Washington is looking under Elwood at the moment.
Wow.
Like tucked back in line, but unfortunate events for Gabriel Wood here at Homestead.
And David Washington's chances, boy, they just improved greatly. 2 of our championship contenders having really big trouble here, not even at the halfway point of the race. And Washington's still pressing here on Elwood. pressing hard right off that left rear quarter panel. I honestly think he was getting a little bit of grip right there, Tanner. Getting a little bit of downforce on that right front. He was able to make a turn and stay with him.
Yeah, just a little bit, but if you can see Washington, he's changing up the line a little bit. He enters the same way, but he changes it up when he gets in the middle groove of the racetrack, in the middle of the corners there, and he can really get a good run on the back straightaway, but he doesn't want to go side by side and go fully to the bottom. He might try it right here in the middle of 3 and 4. He's looking at it, but Elwood's going to get the run off. Watch this. Yes, he will. Elwood will get the run off the high side, and Washington, he's still trying to hang on tough. Got the tuck back in line right here.
And 10 laps to go on the stage. They're going to come up on traffic here. Tana Tallarico in the middle of the track, just in front of them. A few seconds, but they will certainly catch him before the end of this stage. Elwood still holding off the advances of David Washington. Been able to do this for the whole stage. Honestly, again, a little surprised at how well Elwood has gotten that car to turn and continue to perform. Washington's still riding that same line, keeping him nervous, really giving Elwood a lot to think about here.
Washington is not going to give this up. He's already there, and he knows what he can do. Let's see. They're side by side right now. Elwood should get the run off. Yes, he does, actually. It almost looked like Washington got a little loose on that bottom side of the racetrack, transitioning to the flat part of the backstretch. Back down turn 3. He really dove in there really hard, but when you do that, you're going to walk up the hill. And he almost did that, I know.
It was, man. He was pushing. He was pushing, and he has to crack the throttle there a little bit so it doesn't continue to push. Really good job by Washington. A heck of a piece of driving.
Washington's just testing the waters, as I like to call it, Sean. Just trying to test it out, see what I can do. So in case when I do get side by side with him down the straightaway, I know what I have to do.
Well, listen. He knows that the only thing he's got to really worry about at the moment is keeping the car clean, and 2, that dude in his mirror, Dylan Jones, who's starting to catch him just a bit. Honestly, I think it's because of the difficulty that Washington's had trying to get around Elwood. I honestly think that slowed him down a little bit, and all 3 of them have Tanner Tallarico in the windshield now. And boy, Tanner's got a big decision to make here when the leaders get to him. Dylan Jones could actually catch them here towards the end of the stage. If Tallarico gets away too much, he's trying, man.
That push up the hill, Sean, is slowing. It's real. It's slowing him down. It's allowing Jones to catch these 2 cats.
Yeah, the push is definitely real tonight, and Washington has to get out of it there, and that brings Dylan Jones into the party. At 5 laps to go here in the stage. This is going to be exciting. Again, the stage is not really that big a deal this evening. We just know that's the next flag if there isn't some damage out there on track or an incident on track. So here we go. Washington going to try and run it up on the bumper here off the exit. Not enough. Dylan Jones keeps his position there in 3rd, still about the same distance. Elwood's trying to hang on here for just a few more laps.
Let's see, Elwood, he's utilizing the high side. Washington's kind of using that middle groove the majority of the time. I mean, it's a driver preference, too, on what you think your car is how you think your car is handling out there and what line to take.
Well, it's handling good enough for Alan Elwood at the moment.
Oh, man, it looked like he got a little loose, Elwood did. And I think that's just what Washington is waiting for some kind of mistake to happen on that number 5 machine up there.
Yeah, and I honestly think that's why David has continued to put pressure on him throughout the stage. He is really just hoping to try and get him into a mistake. Dylan Jones is here, though. He has arrived. Watch him battle for the lead of the stage here.
Jones has not been able to do anything, but if you look a little further back, Ryan Hill is catching these 3 cats up towards the front.
I saw a car just dive into the pits as well. I'm not sure who that was. It's Richard Regan Jr. Okay, we know he's got a fair amount of damage left on that car. He's still trying to get sorted out. Washington looking again here, Tanner.
Yeah, but I think the lower he goes, the more he cannot beat Washington on that corner exit coming off turn 4 like that. It's just not going to happen.
I think Adam Eisenhower might have had a problem here on track. Yeah, something happened with him.
Oh, he was already loose on the front straightaway, and nobody was around him. That's why the caution didn't come out, and he actually just towed it on the apron side of the racetrack.
Well, they're going to come across the line here with 1 to go, Tanner. To the end of this stage, we've managed to run this one out, buddy.
Yes, we have.
Washington had a close moment off of 4. The car got wicked. That
you said stages don't matter, so I'd say just take it easy here.
Yeah. No reason to push. No reason to loop the car either. I mean, that's the big concern for Washington. Just ride it out here. You're fine. Dylan Jones got to be feeling excellent about where he's at in this race at the moment.
There we go. That's the end of stage 2 with Elwood, Washington, Jones, and Ryan Hill. 1, 2, 3, 4. I tell you what, I kept watching Washington. He kept testing the waters to see what he could do. Maybe he's kind of setting something up for something later.
I think so. I think you're absolutely right. I think the plan is for the long game, right? And maybe that's the same thing for Farnyards. We're still maybe scratching our heads a little bit on his strategy. All these things will play themselves out in this third and final stage this evening. Was scheduled for 66 laps. Obviously here, because of the caution flag and the pace laps, will be a little bit shorter than that. But one thing is certain. They will need a pit stop. And, it'll come down to a few different strategies. We didn't see anybody play with 2 tires last night in the Challenger race. I don't think we'll see that tonight here. I don't know that 2 tires benefits you a whole lot. I think you'll still be slow compared to the guys who take 4, Tanner.
Yeah, absolutely. Since we're kind of getting in that long green flag stretch now, because we had the first stage that was a lot of cautions. The second stage, nothing really. So the final stage, set up for that long green flag run, man. Keep continuously, whenever you get the chance, take 4 tires. In Andrew Farnyard's situation, he hasn't taken any tires yet, but he still remains on the lead lap. He has those extra set of tires waiting for him down pit road, as Farnyard's is coming in right now, along with the race leaders.
Well, we've had a lot of cars drop out of this race.
Yep.
Still sitting either waiting for repair or they've taken the cars behind the wall. Right now, Elwood back up the pit lane. He gets in his box first. David Washington, of course, has got to come all the way down to the end of pit road. In that 4 stall, he's in. Dylan Jones, did he hit it right? It does. It looks like they both got in clean. It'll be a race off. Look for Washington to peel out of that box here real soon. Here comes Elwood. Elwood's out. Oh, Ryan Hill with a quick stop. Ryan Hill gets out second.
And I think Washington lost a couple of more than one spot on pit road.
Oh, yeah. No, that's good. That's going to slot Washington out in 5th. Listen, the pit stop was exciting. We're going to take a quick break here on the Global Sim Racing channel. We'll be right back to green flag action. And welcome back to the Dirty Air on Twitch 200 here from Homestead-Miami Speedway. The pace car has the field right now in turn 3. We're getting ready to get restarted. Alan Elwood and a double nickel of Ryan Hill start on the front row. Dylan Jones, Kyle Cameron right behind him. And then you go back to that third row. It's going to be David Washington and Eric Stanford getting it started there. But now it's time. Here we go. The pace car is off. Everybody looks to Elwood. He gets off to a great start. Nice jump. He kind of dusts Ryan Hill there just a bit. Hill's got to deal with Jones. Jones, our first championship contender here, the top leading one at the moment. And Jones gets a good start there at the bottom. Hill already losing the momentum there in the middle of the turn. Jones able to get away and start working on maybe chasing Elwood here. So a bit of a reverse scenario from the last stages. Now we've got Jones chasing Elwood and Washington back and forth. He's going to have to be the chaser. Washington really struggled in the pits there, didn't he, Tanner?
He most certainly did, and that cost him some track position. Probably something David Washington did not want to see, because right now you're stuck in traffic, you're behind another car, you're getting that dirty air, the car is not handling like it used to when you were right next to Alan Elwood. The air is so much more dirtier than what it was. So right now you just kind of play it nice and safe here, even though you got some fresh tires. Everybody's on an even set of tires here. Just play it nice and safe. Maybe give him one by one. Look at Washington trying to get a pass on Ryan Hill. But the problem is when he starts drifting up the hill, it scrubs off speed.
Yeah, you don't want to drift up the hill, and you don't want to drift into hill. And boy, that'll be something we'll continue to keep an eye on, as Jones still battling here for the lead. He wants this. He really wants to go get that clean air, get away from Elwood and everybody else. Try and lead some laps in this race this evening for the first time.
He wants to try something. The only thing, the only thing really is clean windows. But you know, right? It is so hard to complete a pass on that turn 4 and turn 2 areas of the racetrack, because you're trying to get underneath them, but when you start drifting up the hill back in line, you're technically scrubbing off speed, and it's not the preferred groove on that bottom side. You see Jones right here looking to the inside, but he's losing that speed down this straightaway here, so he has to tuck back in line. So how do you pass a driver that's right in front of you? That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah, it really is here at Miami tonight. Dylan Jones, all I want to do is clean windows, Daddy. I'll tell you what, as the championship contenders go right now, second is a great place to be. Washington sitting back there in 4th. Andrew Farnyar's, another one of our championship contenders, is in 8th. And listen, none of the 4 are out of this, because right now, who am I missing? Who did I leave out there? I left out Andrew Payne. Andrew Payne sitting back in 12th. He is on the lead lap. So all 4 still in play here in this third stage. And, well, 56 laps to go at this point. In 56 laps, we'll be talking about a champion. One final champion here in the Simulation Stock Car Association. And now it's kind of turned into a single file battle. Everybody knows that they're going to need to get to a tire window, Tanner. Certainly don't want any more damage on your car if you've got some. Get out here, get in a rhythm, and let's go for as long as we can. The window that I saw, about 35 to 37 laps. So let them run this out here for about 25 to 30 more laps, Tanner, and I think you will see some guys starting to come in.
Yes, sir, for sure. But here's the kicker right here, is that you said we're going to see one more pit stop. Well, in Andrew Farnyar's case, with all them extra sets of tires, what if Farnyar's decided, hey, I'm going to short pit this, even though I know I can make it to the end, but I have these tires. I'm going to short pit this to try to gain that advantage. He can most certainly well do that, especially in 8th place right now. Yeah. And it's shown to be out there. It's hard to pass around this joint.
Well, listen, if that's the case, that's not a bad plan. If this race is going to stay green, it might be the only chance he has to jump these guys.
There's always pros and cons to whatever decisions you make out there on the racetrack, whether you're driving an oval race or a road race, even a dirt race. There's always pros and cons to something. And the con to that early pit strategy is if a caution comes out and you're a lap down, you're stuck a lap down, and you have to take a wave around, which means you can't pit whatsoever despite just turning just a couple of laps. Farnyar's back here. I haven't seen this guy battle anybody all day long. He's now starting to battle Mr. Gary Sexton for 7th back here, as the race leader is kind of single file. Just ahead of him is a battle going on between Stanford and Cameron.
Yeah, well, I think it's certainly if Farniers is planning on short pitting, he wants to try and pick up his
Washington and Hill.
Ooh, I missed that. Sorry, I was watching Farniers.
Yeah, almost contact. Almost. They were like neck and neck at each other here off of turn 4. Looks like it's backed off now. But these two cats are still trying to go out of here. Washington trying to, I mean, he didn't necessarily, you know, he's up there in the top 5, but he lost the track position because he came in 2nd place and came out 5th. He's now in 4th. So he's only gained 1 spot since the restart.
And you talked about Farniers trying to move, trying to get up here. He's trying to work on this move on Gary Sexton still, but he's trapped. Sexton's not really giving up half of the track, and it's left Farniers stuck down there on the bottom, but I think Farniers finally got it done.
Did you see what happened right there, Sean? Farniers actually got side by side, maybe had a little bit of advantage, but Sexton was coming with a heavy steam and momentum down that back straightaway. But Farniers dove in turn 3 and was able to clear him, and that's how he got the position.
Well, that gets him 1 more in the 7th. Again, we think he may have a special strategy up his sleeve. We don't know for sure. We'll find out soon enough. Now 50 laps to go.
Got to remember,
go ahead.
You got to remember last week with Farniers, he was one of the top 3 drivers, and he actually got involved in an accident trying to compete for the win.
Boy, the rest of the field behaving themselves right now. Again, everybody locked in on the fact that they know they're going to have to come in for a pit stop. I'd rather come in under a caution, to be honest with you, but the way things are shaking out, it may be a green flag pit stop. Hey, the battle for 5th going on. It's a good one. Stanford, the first time all night we've had to talk about him battling for position. Both of these drivers have come up well through the field to be where they're at the moment. It's kind of the same situation we saw up front, though, with Jones and Hill. Or I'm sorry, Hill and Washington.
This battling right here has brought Farniers into the mix. Stanford still work on Cameron.
It's kind of why I went to them. You see who's there, right? Andrew Farniers has now got to deal with this as what's the word I'm looking for? As carefully as possible.
You mentioned, Sean, that you said you wanted to pit under caution. I kind of wanted this to stay green if I was like Farniers or actually any other driver that's in this top 10 area. And there's a reason behind that. We do got a battle between Ryan Hill and Washington, though, going on off turn 2. I prefer to have this stay green and just kind of stick with that strategy of kind of pitting early. Like I said, the only con is that you don't want a caution to come out. But if you see what the kind of racing these guys are doing, they're showing signs that we can have a long green flag run. Sure, a caution can happen, but the way they were racing that first stage, no chance of it.
You just want to get to that last call for the buffet at the Western Sizzler. I know.
Oh, Sexton.
Oh, and trouble for Gary. Oh, no. Gary's got trouble there at the end of the pit road. I think we've got a replay of this. Here we go. I think Gary's going to lose it here in the turn. I don't think he was trying
he hit
to
the
pit,
apron.
Tanner. Did he?
I don't know. Yeah, but he would have gotten...
He pulled down there. That was an intentional pull down right there. Something happened. He was going to the pits. Maybe Gary was trying a short pit scenario there.
Well, you can't pit like that, Sean, because you have to take away you have to do the pathways.
Right, exactly. Well, all right, so then he's had something technical happen there, obviously. Gary's not going to just cut down across the track and blow a chance to have a nice run.
Still there. He's having a technical difficulty on my screen.
Jeez. That's a shame for Gary. He was having a good run, a good quiet run tonight. Back up front, though, things still looking pretty heated. We're watching this battle for Dylan Jones, though.
A lot of battling going on. Sean's especially. I mean, I'm seeing 3 battles going on here. You got battle for the lead here. You got Washington and Hill going at it. And you got Cameron and Farnyards going at it, man. And, oh, man, Cameron up the hill really high. I don't know if that's going to pay dividends. Farnyard successfully got by Hammer there due to Hammer going really high above the hill. And it looked like Farnyard, he kind of drove it in pretty hard and was successfully able to. Now we got some battles for that race lead and a battle for 3rd and 4th going on.
Yeah, I don't know if any of that matters because as we suspected, I think Andrew Farnyard was saving that stuff up a little bit. He is really starting to make some big gains. He was the fastest car on track that last trip around, and I think that's going to continue.
Battle for the lead. Jones is trying to utilize that bottom side of the racetrack in turns 1 and 2. Could not make it stick on corner exit, though, of turn 2.
Yeah, it's kind of what we've seen all night. It's just not happening. Yeah, something strange happened with Gary there. He's had something come up, and he has had to get out of the seat. So he was actually running a stream on his Twitch channel there, the Dirty Air stream, and we're hearing from some of the fans that he has left his chair. So something going on there. We wish everything well for Gary.
Tell you what, if you look at Elwood, he actually did a pretty good job. But the problem is that if you pinch a guy down there to try to gain that little bit of a side draft, to gain that launch off the corner, sometimes the car on the inside can just push tight and get in your left rear quarter panel. That's just one of those con decisions out there when you start making them decisions. One of those cons.
And Elwood has been awful good over these last couple of stages, man.
Yep, all thanks to that.
Really impressed. Yeah.
That pit stop just before that first stage ended, because we really didn't get a lap under our belt, and he was able to utilize them fresh tires that he had, just stay out.
And Farnyards is still closing the gap, man, a little bit at a time.
Well, it's calmed down between Hill and Washington, but that battle for race lead.
Yeah.
Now this, watch Jones. Can he dive it in there to go for a crossover move to really try to get in there? I don't think so, not this time, because they both dove it in there. Elwood made sure that was not going to happen. Still at neck to neck.
And have been for quite a while now, actually. This has been impressive. But again, it's the nature of this track, okay? It has the multiple groups that we keep talking about. Well, that's what's helping this. That's why we're continuing to see this great side-by-side battle.
Tell you what, if these two cats are going to continuously battle like this, you're going to bring Hill, Washington, and Farnyards, and then you're going to have a recipe for a 5-car disaster.
A recipe indeed, yes.
Man, look at that. Right to the line. If that was a photo finish. I tell you what, I am very impressed with Jones on his bottom side of the racetrack. Even though he's not really fully on the bottom, he's utilizing that middle groove of the racetrack. And Elwood's just trying to use a little side draft to gain that speed down the back straightaway. Jones wants to go for a slide job, but if Elwood keeps throwing it in there and not allowing him to do that, that's what allows these guys to race side by side like this. It produces such great racing. Jones will get him to the line right here.
Hey, just behind him though. Wow. I'm sorry, David Washington almost roughed up Ryan Hill a little bit. There was a little bit of bumper-to-bumper contact coming down the front straightaway. And now Washington is trying to get back to this 3rd spot. Oh, and Hill with a little bit of a struggle off the turn. That car freed up a lot.
Jones made that pass successful up there, but the biggest eyes right now is on Hill and Washington. I think Washington wants to try to do the same thing what Jones did. It just takes time for it to happen.
Yeah, well, Farnyards wants him to do this. Farnyards is enjoying every second of this because he is really closing on him now. Again, Farnyards still the fastest car on the track. I mean, we're talking about hundredths of a second, all right? And not tenths of a second. It's just a little bit every lap. He's crawling up there. What do you think, Tanner? Farnyards, do you start thinking about coming in here any moment?
Well, not yet. If it's 132 laps, because right now we're just in kind of just underneath that window. Give it a couple more laps here, Sean, and see Farnyards maybe just come on down pit road. I mean, that's what I would do. Oh, Ryan Hill's gonna blink it first. He's coming in. He sees that strategy.
Careful.
Gotta be careful.
Boy, he was hot right there.
Yep.
He clips the grass, and oh, he's so lucky he didn't lose the car.
This is the money stop for Ryan Hill right now. He was able to battle with them guys up there in the top 3. Got a little sketchy on entrance to pit road there. But nonetheless, it's 50 miles an hour. Don't overdrive the pit box right here. That's the biggest part right here on pit road is don't beat yourself. Looks like he gets it in nice and clean.
And the leaders scream around this track. Elwood gives up that top position to Dylan Jones. Finally, Jones, the leader of the race. Washington now up to 3rd. Farnyards in 4th. Just now pulling off that pit road, Ryan Hill coming out.
Well, if we do remain green for the rest of this race, the pro is that you're going to gain the track position. The con is the guys who are like the top 3 right now, Jones, Elwood, Washington, and Farnyards, the
There's
top 4.
Elwood.
Yep, there we go. Elwood will have a fresher advantage over Ryan Hill eventually. Farnyards as well.
Ooh, Farnyards is really hot in there, that 50-mile-an-hour speed limit. I hope he doesn't get nipped with a speeding penalty. It was really close at the line for him.
If he did get nipped, he would have to sit in his pit box for 15 seconds.
We'll keep an eye on that. So now the field gets all mixed up. Dylan Jones up there leading the race. David Washington. And then it's a long way back to Tanner Tallarico, who currently sits in 3rd. And other than trouble, it's really the first time we had a chance to talk about Tallarico tonight, but he does find himself sitting in 3rd right now. Really, these 3 cars, the ones that we'll be looking at to make their final stops here, what we think will be their final stops, with just 30 laps to go, Dylan Jones is in. Washington's going to keep riding it out. Washington is going to ride this out. I don't know if this can work out for him, though. I got to be honest with you. I know he struggled to get up into the clean air, but he could certainly last more laps on the tires. Here he comes. So much for that. So Washington makes his way down the pit road. Tallarico, we'll see what he's going to do.
He's going to stay out right now, so once he passes Washington, he will become the race leader. And then once Tallarico pits, it will be actually Ryan Hill.
And just like that, Ryan Hill coming down the back stretch. Washington in his box. Car going up on the jack. Ryan Hill outside of 4. Washington still in his stall. He's down. He's away. Here comes Ryan Hill. Hill's going to pass him on the exit. Hill is going to go to 2nd. Tallarico still leading this race, still needing a pit stop. Unfortunately, David Washington dropping way back through the field. I'm just afraid he stayed out way too long there.
I definitely agree.
Yeah. Right now, Alan Elwood just got around Eric Stanford, past him like he was standing still. Here comes Andrew Farnyards. And would you look at this? All of a sudden, that guy we worried about in his strategy, Andrew Farnyards, now in 5th, leads all championship contenders.
Most certainly does, and what a strategy it paid off. You pit early like that, you gain that advantage. For example, look how much ground Washington's lost. Right now, Andrew Farniars is at the start-finish line. David Washington is just coming off turn 4. That is a huge gap.
Yeah. Yeah, huge. Absolutely huge.
The problem is that that's a huge gap. Do you have you got less than 30 laps? Is that enough time to catch Farniars? In my opinion, I don't think so. I think he stayed out way too long.
It's great to talk about the championship right now, but one of the non-championship contenders is leading this race, and that's Ryan Hill. And Hill's looking sweet right now as he screams across the line, gets by Richard Regan Jr. Again, Tanner Tallarico is leading this race, and why we haven't focused on it is because we know he needs to pit still. He's driving that car to the limit right now, 38 laps on those tires, and it'll be just a matter of time. He's 18 seconds ahead of Ryan Hill, but I just don't think he could stay out much longer. In fact, he's probably only good on fuel for about 10 more laps, so we'll see.
Pretty good battle at first, it looked like, between Farniars and Elwood. This mix-up would be the battle for second place should Tanner Tallarico pit. These two cats are really close to each other, and just ahead of him by a little over a second and a half is Ryan Hill. So one of the first top 5 drivers to pit was Ryan Hill, and that's what got him out front of all these cats.
Yeah, listen, the new tires obviously were worth that much. He was able to pick up so much time in those just few extra laps that he was out there over, but it was really only about
Tallarico pits.
About three laps?
Tallarico pits.
Oh, that's it. Here we go. Ryan Hill looks to take over the lead here. He'll come down the back stretch. He still has a nice gap back to Alan Elwood. It's 1.3 seconds.
Well, the pro it's going to get him the race lead.
Yeah.
The con is you got a 1.3 second race lead. Eventually, they will catch you. Keep that in mind. As long as he runs, consistent lap times, not at least competitive. Because right now, that's what Ryan Hill wants to see in his rearview mirror: is those two cats battling, Farniars and Elwood.
Yeah, well, he would love for Elwood to hold up Farniars as long as he may have been held up trying to get around drivers back there. It has been so incredibly tough to pull off a pass tonight, and that really has been the key to this race. If you find yourself in a battle for position just like Farniars is right now, it's going to take a while to pull that off if the guy next to you is racing really hard, and Elwood has been racing hard since the beginning of the second stage. Hasn't let up since. Farniars is going to send it down into the turn. And still, no. He starts to push. He's got to get out of it. He's going to let Elwood continue his run up along the top.
Their tire wear is the same as far as Farniars and Elwood is concerned. Right behind these two cats is Dylan Jones, who stayed out about a lap or two later than Elwood and Farniars. So you have these three cars right here will circle them. It's just a matter of time. They will catch Ryan Hill, because Ryan Hill was one of the very first guys within that top 5 to pit.
Yeah, they've got it to under a second now. It's about 8/10. Boy, Farniars really, really got it hooked up there on the bottom. Watch out, though. Here comes Dylan Jones. Golly, look at this, man. This is for the championship right here. Wow. I'm really, really excited to watch the continuation of this race at the moment. Farniar's still trying to make it happen. Now you see him send it in late, and it's just not enough, man. Elwood's just got it running really, really well there in the center of the groove.
He really does, man. Farniar's doing everything he can to utilize that bottom side of the racetrack.
And now Jones. Yeah,
yes.
Jones is taking advantage of that.
Jones' advantage right here, Sean, is that he stayed out a couple laps after Elwood and Farniar's pitted.
That he's going to use the draft to Elwood to just get around Farniar's. Farniar's now dropped down to 4.
Elevator drop. I don't know if he's going to be able to make it stick. They're door to door. He's making it stick. Them tires are working out really good for Jones, because he pitted after Elwood and Farniar's, so the tire wear is not going to be the same.
3 laps. That's the difference, but it's still better. It's enough. Yeah, it's still enough. Jones is going to move, Raul. He tried to. He wasn't quite clear.
Jones looks like he could get him right here. As long as Elwood doesn't really dive in there. He looked like he could have. I still don't trust it because Elwood's going to come. I wouldn't trust it, Jones. And yeah, that's all right. He trusts it right now.
And now Jones has got second. He's got it. It's his. Boy, Elwood gets out of the throttle a little early there. Farnyard's got to make a little bit of an evasive move. It really, really hurts his momentum.
And Ryan Hill, he's got to look in his rearview mirror because they're catching him.
Yeah, well, he was also a little bit loose that time out of 2. I saw the rear end of the car get a little sketchy. Hill just trying to hang on now in his Podium Esports Chevrolet Camaro.
The only thing that's going to save David Washington right now is going to be a caution flag.
Yeah, oh boy, he's going to need something pretty spectacular to happen sitting back there.
Oh, look at this. Defensive play on Ryan Hill's part, entering turn 3. That's what Hill wants to do, almost contact, but look at Jones scrubbing it.
And you remember that big wreck we saw at Phoenix last week? Boy, you don't...
Oh, don't...
Too many championship contenders up here for us to get one of those.
Washington's hoping for all 4 of these cats to cook up a recipe for a disaster.
Yeah, he sits almost 11 seconds back from what the leaders are doing at the moment.
They're still beating them on lap times despite battling. So, I mean, that is huge. Very unfortunate for Washington, but this battle for the lead is not going to give up because Jones really putting the pressure on him, wanting that top spot. He knows he's going for a championship. Ryan Hill technically racing for honor, but, I mean, we're still racing out here, baby.
Oh, Jones is loose! Trouble for Jones! Trouble, big trouble for Jones. He's riding it out. He's back into the racing line.
What a save! Wow.
Oh, man. A save, yes, but with 12 laps to go, that could be the end of his chance to win a championship. He's going to need some help here as we go to the replay. And no contact there. That car just got loose, Tanner.
It just got loose indeed, and what's going to hurt? It's going to hurt his tires because he just went off and into the grass area. Those tires are dirty, but right now those tires should be cleaned off since he's still running at a high rate of speed, but great save for Dylan Jones, which could have ended his championship hopes. But Jones, don't count him up because he's starting to gain it back on Farnyards and Elwood, and the only driver he has to focus on is Andrew Farnyards.
Yeah, and Elwood actually got a little bit of the wall coming off of 4. This has opened things up for Farnyards. This might be the best chance he's got to pull off this move. He needs to put as much distance as he can between him and Dylan Jones with 11 laps to go in this race. Farnyards still can't pull off this pass on Elwood.
Yeah, we're coming to the start-finish line right now. We're coming to 10 laps to go. I mean, Dylan Jones is just trying to recover from what just happened. Andrew Farnyards just wants to pass Elwood so he can escape from Dylan Jones and make it harder for Jones to get by Elwood because Elwood's not letting anybody by him here tonight. Oh, man. Championship implications. The electricity's in the air.
The only one who's really technically out of this at the moment is Andrew Payne, unfortunately. The other 3 are still in play. Farnyards, Jones, and David Washington. But the leader of this race is Mr. Ryan Hill, who continues to keep them in the mirror as he comes up on Ray Richer. Richard's got a decision to make here, an important one, and he just gets out of the throttle, keeps it up out of the racing line.
Oh, that hurt Dylan Jones just a little bit, but thankfully he's still able to keep tabs with Farnyards because he caught the 44. There goes Farnyards. Farnyards is just trying to cut off that line. But keep in mind here, how Dylan Jones got by Farnyards and Elwood is the high side. And then he did an elevator drop on Elwood. And I think Farnyards realizes that, so he's not going to try to get underneath the number 5 any more than what he was. He's going to try to cut off that main line up there. And really have Dylan Jones work for it. Yeah, look at that. Well, Jones is going to move up the hill a little bit. But when he did that, it scrubbed off a little speed. Now Farnyard's can clear in that hole.
Forget winning at this point. This is the battle for the championship right here, these two. Oh, Jones trying to take advantage of him here.
Ooh. He wanted to push him up the hill and maybe try to scrub some speed off of the 88, but it did not work. But at the same time, you got to be careful doing that.
Watch for the door-to-door contact when they get side by side again. These cars freeing up just a bit now. We're 25 laps into these tires.
No more mistakes.
Yeah, no more mistakes indeed, right? 6 laps to go. You don't want to make any here. Jones continues to kind of look at that lower groove. He'll present the car. He'll get it in there, but he's just going to pull up alongside. Elwood, not really. It doesn't look like Elwood's holding either of them up, to be honest with you. Elwood actually looks to have a stronger car at the moment. So like I said, forget about a win. Right now it's a battle for the end of the podium, and that might result in one of our champions.
Well, here's the thing. Elwood is holding up the high line, but Farnyards is using Elwood as a pick because that's technically been the main line, as we discussed since the top of the show. But here's the mistake right here. He left the door open right here. Jones is going to get that run. Hopefully he's just not there. Oh, he slammed the door.
Yeah, boy, Farnyards
can't do that. If I was Farnyards, use that 5 car as a pick. Make it difficult for Dylan Jones to try to get underneath you.
4 to go at the line. 4 laps, and the Simulation Stock Car Association comes to an end. It's hard to believe. There's such a long season for all 3 series, and GSRC has been here to bring all of it, and it's all come down to this. The championship on the line here for Andrew Farnyards. Dylan Jones. Farnyards has got the advantage right now. Can he continue to hold that over the next 3.5 laps? Oh, and he was loose off of 4 there, Tanner.
He definitely was. It looked like Farnyards took a different line than what Elwood did. That actually, bogged up the 88 and might cost him this time around.
Oh, boy,
it might be a slide job trying to get right in front of him. Was not 100% clear. They're technically still side by side down that back straightaway. And if he dives it in there, so does Farnyards. Oh, man.
Oh, boy, that is so close. You can't get a sheet of paper between those two.
No.
Wow.
Thank God we ain't got tire rubs. And Jones successfully gets Farnyards. What a move.
Jones back to 3rd. Elwood goes up to the top there. Does it quickly. Jones, boy, he could really benefit from this. Maybe getting and clearing Elwood and put that car in between him and Farnyards. 1.5 laps to go. Ryan Hill is still your leader. We'll focus on him in just a moment, because he's going to come around and take the white flag here in the dirty air on Twitch 200 at Homestead, Miami. Ryan Hill, white flag. Dylan Jones is classified in 2nd. He has cleared Elwood. Dylan Jones has gone to 2nd, and he will win this championship if he can hang on. Ryan Hill down the backstretch one last time into 3. The number 55 Podium Esports Chevrolet on his way to victory here at Homestead, Miami. The final race of the season, the final race of the series. Dylan Jones going to come home 2nd and win the championship in the AdPro 360 Cup Series. Alan Elwood with a great run is going to complete the podium, and Andrew Farnyards, unfortunately, after such a dominant season, is going to come up just short and lose out to Dylan Jones tonight. What a race, Tanner. Man, a lot of good battling out there. That was really, really fun to ride this out with the drivers of the AdPro 360 Cup Series. But what we're going to do is we're going to let our winner, Ryan Hill, celebrate. We're going to let Dylan Jones get ready to accept his championship trophy. And we're going to take a quick break here on the Global Sim Racing channel. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Dirty Air on Twitch 200 here from Homestead-Miami Speedway. The final race in this season. It's been a long one here. The AdPro 360 Cup Series all came down to this tonight, and here are your results. Ryan Hill finishes this race, did not qualify, started in 21st place. He wins. Congratulations to Ryan Hill. Dylan Jones, he'll finish second, and guess what, folks? That's good enough to win the championship. So Dylan Jones, your championship winner. Alan Elwood going to finish third. It was an impressive run. 2 stages, really strong for Elwood. Andrew Farnyars battled so hard, comes up just a little short, will finish fourth. Probably the worst fourth place finish of his career, he would probably tell you. Eric Stanford, fifth. Kyle Cameron with a 6th place finish, a solid night for Kyle. David Washington, man, it just didn't work out for him. He had a strong car, looked like he had a chance of winning this at one point, but it all went away. And 7th, best he could do. William Hartman, somehow, William survives for a top 10 finish. Congratulations to him on 8th. Tanner Tallarico, another car that we're kind of surprised finishes in the top 10. He got into trouble early, a lot of damage, and still hangs on for that 9th place finish. And, well, there you go. William Locklear in the number 4. He'll finish 10th and complete the top 10, Tanner.
Yeah, outside that top 10, first car, 1 lap down, Ray Richard in the 44 here tonight. Andrew Payne, a championship contender, one of those top 4 drivers. Unfortunately, it's not going to happen tonight. He'll have to settle for 12th place finish on the end of the season here. Shane Parrish will finish in 13th. Richard Reagan Jr. is going to finish 14th. Sean Kaus is going to finish in the 15th spot. Gary Sexton with a malfunction of some sort or some kind of emergency. He'll have to settle with 16th place finish tonight. Gabriel Wood in 17th. He was our pole sitter and showed a lot of speed. Maybe something for the future. Adam Eisenhower is going to finish in the 18th spot. David Leif is going to finish in 19th. And rounding out that top 20 is Colton Selleck.
All right, and then we'll take the best of the rest here in 21st. Looking at Ethan Moore there. Judd Danielson, 22nd, 23rd. Giovanni Bromonti, 24th. In the final car in the field, Trey Galgan. Jacob Porter was not a starter in this race. So there you go. 24 get this championship decided tonight. But the guy who won is the guy we're going to talk to first. He's celebrating another win this season. Ryan Hill had a great race, had a good car, and at the end, you were the guy in front, and you win. Congratulations, Ryan.
Thank you.
What was the key? Was it coming in first? We think. We think that was key. You deciding to come down pit road first.
You're gonna laugh, and believe me, you're really gonna laugh. I was race control last night for the Challenger Series. Josh Bonwell pitted on lap 98, and that's why I decided I was going to make that pass. Or coming to pit road. So Josh Bonwell won it for me.
Okay, so you went with the Josh Bonwell strategy. All right, well, it didn't work out bad for him last night either. Gets a championship out of that deal. So, hey, listen, congratulations. It's been fun watching you all season. You've been competitive in all the series that we've seen you in, and you've had a couple of lowlights as well. I'm certainly, you look back to Phoenix last week, that was tough to swallow, I got to imagine.
Yeah, it was a lot tough to swallow. It's just one of those racing deals, I guess. It just goes to show that, we could have won the championship if we ended up winning last week. So it is what it is. So I had fun this whole season. Everybody was fun to race with. Of course, we're all going to have our ups and downs with other drivers throughout the race, but we're going to be starting next year with a new slate. So I guess we put it off to a good ending for the SCCA.
Yeah, it really was. It definitely full of highlights, and we get a championship, a champion out of it. But Ryan, before we let you go, we'll give you one last chance to thank friends, family, and sponsors.
Yeah, just to thank everybody at CCR. I was picked up late this year on that team, and they let me race with them. Obviously, Gary and Kyle for what they've done for this league. Podium next year, they allowed me to run this car tonight, and that's a good thing. Podium going out, showing off, going off with the win. Starting next year, good too. Everybody at the 55, Hooker Disposal and Recycling, all the sponsors, everybody on the racetrack, and you guys all year for putting on an amazing, more than an amazing broadcast this whole year. It's been good going back and rewatching a lot of the races and seeing that I got a new nickname, Highlight Real Hill. It seems like every time I turn around and see your Facebook, it's always me in it. So you guys have done a superb job all year, and I wish y'all the best of luck, and hopefully our paths will cross again someday.
And hopefully they will. That's Ryan Hill, the winner tonight here at Miami, or at Homestead Miami Speed. I want to get that right. I don't want to switch that around. So thanks to Ryan Hill. And now, another guy who had a really strong run, unfortunately not in the championship fight, but Alan Elwood and Tanner Sharp have caught up with each other.
I've caught up with Alan Elwood, and man, I think you were the guy that was just trying to hold his line and get a good finish out of this whole deal. But nonetheless, top 3 finish here tonight, Alan. Take me through your race overall. It just seemed like at the end of it, it came down to tires. You were one of those drivers that actually spun out earlier. And so what a comeback for you. Tell me about it, bud.
I was actually up in the air about racing tonight just because with Phoenix and everything, how it went down, getting kicked out of the last 4, it was kind of a bummer. But overall tonight, that first spin was kind of adventurous. I saw Judd come off the wall and I veered left, and Ethan was also to my left, so I kind of had to correct right, and it just, I kind of lost from there. But overall, I'm super happy with the third. It's been quite a while since I got to talk to you guys, so I feel pretty good about that. And it's a hard-fought battle, and I know there's guys racing for a championship, but there's also us guys who, may not be in the playoff race, but we're racing for a win. And I was sure giving it my damnedest trying and, seeing if I could hold them all off.
And Alan, it was a hard-fought battle to try to get back up towards the front. You actually did it on some pit strategy after the first stage to try to stay up front, and boy, did it work out for you because you were there the rest of the race. Talk to me a little bit about the track, Homestead. It's a very difficult track to pass on. We've seen it countless times here tonight. The guy on the bottom could not make the pass successful unless he had fresher tires than you did. This just seems like a very multi-groove racetrack to where you don't even know what the line is. What are your thoughts on Homestead?
I personally love Homestead. I mean, just for the simple fact of I'm kind of a Larson driver where I like to run the high line. I'm not so good on the bottom, but I mean, if I have to run there, I will. But being able to keep your momentum up on the high side is where I like to be. So Homestead plays really good into my favor, and as you guys saw tonight, I mean, I might not have been the fastest person, but after you put yourself in front with track position, being able to run the high side is perfect for being in that scenario. So it's a track that really fits me well.
Yeah, absolutely. And every single week, and I said at the top of the show that you're one of the competitive guys out here, even though you had a dismal, actually you didn't take a qualifying lap here tonight. You started 20th, end up 3rd. You still rode with your competitiveness and still riding on momentum right now. Any future plans with the SSCA?
I'm definitely going to be going over to podium when that starts up. SSCA has been great this year. Gary and everybody over here has been awesome. Going on late, like Ryan said, I kind of picked up with them late and really legit with those guys. So I'm excited about the future. It was a turbulent season, had its ups, had its probably more downs, I would say. Didn't pick up a win this season, so that was, really frustrating for me. But, coming in tonight, picking up a 3rd after not qualifying and giving it my all is really all I could do. So, picking up that momentum and taking it to next season is perfect.
Keep riding that momentum. Keep picking at it, man. You'll get that win one day. I am absolutely sure of that with your competitiveness out there on the racetrack, especially in the AdPro Cup Series. Alan, thank you for taking the time to talk with us this evening, and we hope to see you up towards the front and winning some races in the future.
All right, thanks, Tanner.
That was Alan Elwood finishing 3rd here tonight. Back to you there, Sean.
All right, back to me one last time because it's Dylan Jones. The champ is here. The champ is here. Congratulations, Dylan. We're so excited. Listen, the end of that stage was absolutely nuts. I want you to first of all, I'm going to congratulate you. Acknowledge the fact that you've been congratulated.
I thank you, sir. I thank you.
Okay. Now, how, and I'm going to be frank here, how in the hell did you come back from that save to win this championship?
I don't know, man. That was ridiculous. I wanted to win. I felt like if you got to win, you're gonna win the championship. You got to win the race too. So I was giving it all I had, and Hill was fast. I think he was done on tires, but you hold that outside line, and I just made a dumb mistake. Tried to do the crossover, went through the grass, and got lucky, I guess.
Well, man, listen, it was a heck of a fight. The whole race, all three stages. Honestly, I really didn't think you were coming back from that save. Honestly, I didn't think you were going to save it. I really thought you were into that wall. It was amazing. It really, really was. Great car craft there for you tonight. What's been the key to the season, though? I mean, honestly, I know consistency is the easy answer, but I'm sure it takes a lot of things to fall into place to win a championship like this.
Overall, the season for me, I thought it was kind of up and down. My consistency wasn't where I want it to be, especially compared to Andrew there, Mr. Consistency himself here. But just focusing on coming down to the last race, everything's on the line, and putting all your focus towards it. All of us did here. We put in a lot of time together, put in a lot of practice, which I'm sure a lot of guys did. And you just tried to keep yourself out of bad situations. Tried to keep my distance from anything that looked kind of sketchy until the end of the race there, and just put yourself in the right position at the end of the race.
Well, we have enjoyed watching the window licker Ford all season. And probably one of our favorite paint jobs on the track, to be honest. Universally, I think the first time we saw that, we went, "Now that's cool." And putting
an inside joke.
I'm sure it is. And you know what? I'm gonna be brave enough not to ask you what the inside joke is there. We'll some things are better unsaid. Sometimes the mystery is better, Dylan. So we're gonna stick with the mystery on that. Okay. So
good idea.
All right. So Podium Esports getting ready to crank up for 2019. Is that where you're heading?
I hope so. I got a busy schedule coming up here. Probably going to be running the Pro Series here, so I don't know. We got to see what kind of time I have, but I'd love to come back and run this with these guys. It was great fun.
All right, and it was great fun watching you. Again, congratulations on your championship. We'll let you go and get back to celebrating. We'll see you down the road, my friend.
Thank you, guys.
All right, and that is Dylan Jones, our championship winner. You know what? He finishes second place tonight. That's right where he started. Had a great qualifying effort, and that was key. Now we're going to just kind of bring everybody down. This is the best, well, as I referred to in the States, this is the best of the rest here. We've got we've caught up with Andrew Farnyards, Andrew Payne, and David Washington. Guys, I'll just ask one question real quick. You could all take a turn at answering. How much fun was that tonight?
A lot of fun. Just like what Jones was saying earlier, just trying to pick and choose. Not to be pretty much the whole night.
Andrew Payne, how much fun was it for you, buddy?
It was pretty fun until about lap 26 there when I kind of took myself out. But other than that, I mean, even with a wrecked race car, it was still pretty fun to go out and run the high line and pretty much pull the Larson line most of the time.
Yeah. And Andrew, Andrew Farnyards, I know it's been a long season. You've been great all season. I'm sure you're probably a little disappointed to come up short at this point, but again, it's been fun watching you, and you've had a strong car all year. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. Truthfully, I had a blast out there. That was really fun with me and Dylan at the end there. It was mano y mano. That's how I want to settle it. I wish Dave was up there and Andrew was up there as well. That's how. It's really how I want to finish the year. There is just all four of us racing for the the championship.
Were you surprised to see Dylan come back from that save? I mean, did you realize he had lost it and almost, in fact, wrecked the car?
Yeah, I mean, we run enough practices to know he pitted, I think, 2-3 laps after me, and I don't have a shot in the world after that. So Elwood was able to do it, and Hill was able to do it. I don't know why I couldn't hold him off. And I knew he had 3-lap fresher tires. I knew he was going to get back to me, but I thought if I held the high line, I could hold him off. Just couldn't do it. But man, hats off to him. He drove a heck of a race and got by me, and
Yeah, and listen to all of you. Just a tremendous season. Let's give you a chance here. Any closing thoughts from you guys?
Yeah, Window Liquor won't be winning next season, that's for sure. We're going to have something for him. This old guy is going to put in a lot more practice and give these young kids a run for their money.
Well, David, we look forward to seeing that. You get that 98 team together and get that Aegis Ford ready and prepped, and hopefully you'll have a great one in 2019, maybe even the championship. And yeah, we hope so too. How about the two Andrews here? We've got Andrew Farnyards and Andrew Payne. Any closing thoughts from you guys?
Go ahead.
All right. Sorry to cut you off there. I just want to say, minus not winning tonight, it was still a great year. 8 wins on a season. I mean, that's crazy. And I owe it all to Dave and Dylan and everybody on Aegis, because, I mean, I came into the season a 3,500 iRating guy, just, middle of the pack, and we really excelled this year, and I owe it all to this team. And, we won a bunch of polls, we won a bunch of races, so I can't even say this as a disappointment. It was a lot of fun racing with these guys all year, and just everybody in this league. It's been a blast.
Andrew Payne?
I just want to say, thanks to Gary and Kyle for putting this league on this year. It was a blast, and especially racing with Andrew and Washington and Dylan. It was pretty interesting year. I mean, for me, I honestly never expected myself to make it to the Final Four, but here tonight I ended up making the Final Four with a couple wins in the playoffs. So it was a really fun year, and I'm haven't fully decided yet if I'm going to podium, but hopefully, even if I don't, I hope to continue to race with these guys.
All right. Well, listen, congratulations to all of you. We appreciate you coming into the booth. Tanner, it's time to wrap things up. Listen, first and foremost, I want to thank you for sitting alongside me all season here through the AdPro 360 Cup Series season. It's been a real pleasure, and I'm sure we'll be back together in the booth soon.
It's been a blast for sure all season long, and all the other times I've been up here in the booth with you. Looking forward to the future working with you again, along with Joe as well. So, and hopefully others alongside GSRC. It's been that's the main important thing is it's fun. That's what I get from it. It's just fun and it's enjoying and seeing tons of great action out there on the racetrack.
All right, so now it's time to wrap this up, but we can't do it without thanking a lot of people. We want to thank Dirty Air Studios for supporting and sponsoring the Dirty Air on Twitch 200 tonight. Dirty Air Studios, they're an iRacing media production company that provides top-of-the-line professional videos, graphics, pictures, and paint jobs for all things sim racing. Check them out on their Facebook page, Dirty Air Studios. We also want to thank the title sponsor of this series. That would be AdPro 360. They are an advertising agency specializing in digital and social media marketing. For more information, go to their website, adproresults.com. We also want to thank everyone at the Simulation Stock Car Association for organizing the AdPro 360 Cup Series and contracting with GSRC to broadcast it. Listen, folks, on the screen now, you can check out, you're here in a moment. I'm sorry, I messed things up there. The iconic... The on the screen now are just some of the companies, equipment, and software that made this broadcast possible. I'm so sorry I blew this, folks. The iconic original music that lets your ears alert your eyes that you're watching a GSRC production comes courtesy of Eric Ekholm and June Lalonde. See the screen for how to contact each of them. Folks, the door is closing on the SCCA Cup Series, on the SCCA period. They're calling it a day. Find out more about their future plans at podiumesports.com. Nothing difficult to figure out there, podiumesports.com. Sliding across your screen now are some of the upcoming broadcasts we have coming here on the Global Sim Racing channel. Check those out, mark them down on your calendar. We want you back to watch us again. If you'd like more information about GSRC, including a complete list of future broadcasts, go to our website, globalsimracingchannel.com. You can start there. You can also hit us up on social media. Find us on Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook. Well, Global Sim Racing Channel. That's all you need to know. Just type that in. You'll find us there. We're on Instagram. Yes, GSRC_Graham. finally, folks, on behalf of the crew, one last time, Tanner Sharp, our director, Joe Peak, and our camera artist, Dougie Beard, I would like to thank everyone that has continued to watch all season, or if you just showed up this evening, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube page, and we'll see you back for the next broadcast. Until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll all see you on the track sometime really soon.